Check. How we doing? We rolling? Y'all hear me? How we doing? We got sound? Do we got sound? Hello. Everybody give me a yeah if I'm coming through. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah? No? Yeah? Yeah? Got a yes, sir? Got a yes, sir from Peter Henkel, the first guy to echo sound back at me. Coming through? We rolling. All right, I'm going to try something. I have no fucking idea if this is going to work. We'll see.
I ain't no white trash piece of shit. I'm better than you all. I can outlearn you. I can outread you. I can outthink you. And I can out-philosophize you. And I'm going to outlast you. You think a couple of whacks to my good old boy gut's going to get me down? It's going to take a hell of a lot more than that, counselor, to prove you're better than me. I am like God, and God like me. I am as large as God. He is as small as I. He cannot above me, nor I beneath him. Me! Salasius, 17th century.
Could you all hear that? Huh? I'm in a Max Cady mood because I'm fucking dressed like him. I got my Max Cady shirt on. I got my Max Cady hat. I slicked my fucking hair back in honor of my favorite fucking fictional white trash hoodlum. So, how are we all doing here tonight? Oh! We broke 60 to start. All right. It was up to 55 at one point, and then right before I hit go live, it dropped down to like 20, then went back up to 50, then went down, so I consider that shit a glitch. All right, so below their courtesans, concubines, and curly cute Casanovas with a consuming commitment to crass communication and clay coquetry like this creepy curmudgeon right fucking here. Like all you creepy curmudgeons out fucking there. Welcome to the third formal Church of Nod gathering, Wasted Youth Crew and Team No Head in the Oven meeting. It is officially fucking adjourned means end. What's the beginning? Like budjourned or something like that? I don't know. But a couple of things real quick. We'll get to the chat stream, which is bumping in a second. But I noticed upon review of the last one we did a couple of weeks ago that in the chat stream, right? This is something I got to warn you guys about. In the chat stream, I don't always see everything. I try to stay on top of the chats. I try to go through them, but I only see about a third of them at best. And it's kind of a bum out because when I'm like doing like the after stuff to it, like you got to do stuff to it before you put it up online. Daisha Hensley in the house. What's up, hon? I missed a lot of good suggestions. I missed a lot of good questions, stuff I would have loved to cover, which bums me the fuck out. But the main thing that really bummed me out is an old school viewer of these videos. He was one of the first people that started commenting regularly when I first started putting these fucking things up. His name's Bobby Beretta. And I lost track of him for a while, and it was kind of while I was underground and dealing with my own existential storm. But he popped back up in the chats last couple of weeks during these live streams, and I was really glad to see him because I got really unnerved when I didn't see him for a while, because in our business, when you don't hear from somebody for like 6 months, it's usually not excellent news. But I noticed a comment from him that I didn't see in real time when it happened. I only saw it after, and it was that his son had passed away. And I'm bummed I missed it. And I'm bummed I didn't say something about it, so I'm saying it now. Bobby, I'm so fucking sorry about your son, brother. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're hanging in there. I know you're hanging in, but obviously you're in a great deal of pain. All my condolences and love to you and your family. So this whatever the fuck it is dedicated to the memory of Bobby's son. In somewhat related news, or on a related topic. Two things happened in the past week. One of them that I was really pleased with, and one of them that I am consternated by. I was falling asleep one night about a week ago, and I've been up for like 2 days. I've been writing like a lunatic. I've been writing like 10 pages a day, and I'm gonna publish the fucking thing. So if this COVID lockdown lasts much longer, I'm gonna come out of it with a fucking book. The book I've been blowing hot air about for 20 fucking years now. So that'll be one upside. But I was falling asleep, and I got like some weird alert. On the computer made a chirp. It went like ding, and it doesn't usually do that. And I looked, and it was, for some reason, YouTube decided to alert me that somebody had left a comment, which it never does that. Because if it did, the thing would be chirping so much that I'd have broken it over my fucking knee. Because there's hundreds of comments on each video, so if it kept going ding every time I got one, I would have thrown the computer out the fucking window. There wouldn't be any more videos. But I clicked on it, and it was a viewer named Lorraine. I won't give her full name away. Some of you guys know her. She's been watching the videos for years. I've seen her comment from time to time. I have good visual memory, not necessarily great memory with names, but I knew who she was. And it was a comment on one of the recent videos just saying she was having a really hard time. How does she reach out to other people from this strange phenomenon that we have accreted here? And I want to talk about this at two levels, okay? The first level is the entire experience was a gift of sobriety and sanity. Because if I'd been fucking banged up or withdrawing, or even if I had been in a place of deep depression, or symptomatic bipolar, I would have just put it off to the next day. She just said she was in desperate emotional straits. She'd had a bunch of stuff happen to her, and she just wanted to connect with some of the other people from this thing, what we call the team. So, like I said, if I had been in a different place, if I had been a place other than the place I've been in the last couple of months, I would have just deferred it. I wouldn't have said I don't care. I never say that. But I would have said, I'll deal with this when I feel better, which tomorrow never comes. There's only an eternal collapsing quantum wavefront of now, eternally. Tomorrow doesn't happen. It's only now. So I responded to her and said, go on Twitter, find me, and then just pop up and say who you are. This fucking thing just dropped. Motherfucker. Where did it cut out on me? It just said it cut out. Where did I drop off? It just told me I fucking dropped off. Am I back? Did we lose anything? I hate it when that happens because I don't know where I stopped. Where did I just drop off? I know I dropped off for a second. Sorry. This breaks the stride, but these are the technical realities we have to deal with. The arcane voodoo of social media and shit like that. Twitter, thank you. Thank you, Johnny Napalm. So I had to find me on Twitter, and she did, almost immediately, like half an hour later. And I said, now follow all these people. And I said, hey, everybody, this is Lorraine. She's having a hard time. And I, cut and paste, whatever the fuck you do with a bunch of the people that I knew would be down to talk to her. And all of a sudden, people started. Now, those are people I knew that are always in contact with each other on the Twitter, okay? And they all jumped in. But like 50 more people jumped in that I didn't know were that involved on a regular basis. And that was amazing to me. That's fucking like humbling and gratifying at the same time. That is the ripples. When you throw the fucking proverbial rock in the pond and shit ripples and affects other people. That's what that was to me. So it was fucking amazing. And you could watch her mood get better over the course of the next 2 fucking hours. I said, follow all these people. So that is a way to get in touch with people if you want to do it. The guys and gals have been joking that if you need help, put the hashtag hyena down. And it was done sort of ha ha ha, but it's been working. So I love it. That's awesome. On the flip side, on the darker side, there's another guy that's been hitting me up the last couple of weeks. He's been hitting me up on and off for a very long time. I'm not going to say his name. I hope he's watching tonight. I don't know if he is. Without giving too much away, although he's not shy about it, I don't think I would be giving anything away. His wife died of brain cancer about 3 or 4 years ago now. I knew her, okay? I know them both. His wife was she's young. She's like fucking 27, 28 at the latest. And she's an adorable little peanut of a thing. She was just a sweet, innocent, nice kid. And she had stage 4 brain cancer, and it took her. And she, of course, died by inches in front of this dude I'm talking about. He had to watch this happen. The last picture he sent me was amongst the worst things I've ever seen. It was him saying goodbye to her. And it was as horrific as you can imagine, as anybody with more imagination than a fucking amoeba or a planaria can project on. It was horrific. But so he's been a fucking wreck since then. A wreck. Banged up, strung out, messed up, everything. Every drug known to man. And done a little time on and off since then. Now here's the issue. He's had some sobriety as well. Some sobriety here and there as well. And he knows how to do it because at least I don't know about his wife. I certainly don't want to speak out of turn with that. But he had time, a lot of time leading up to her death. He had been clean for quite a while. And sorry, the thing did something and I got nervous because I get nervous if it changes color or anything. So he's been in an existential crisis for basically 3 years straight. Varying degrees of lucidity and stuff like that. Now here's the problem. At his worst times, he hits me up from multiple angles, whether on Facebook or on the YouTube comments, or occasionally he was sending me emails and I would respond to his emails. But then I started getting emails from random people and I would find out it was him contacting me from an aunt's email or commenting on one of the social media from a friend of a friend's phone. So there's no way to contact back. And he's, at his worst, he's in a state not far from psychosis because he's either so fucked up or he's detoxing that he's not thinking clearly. I don't even know how to put him in touch with anybody else. And a lot of his messages are reduced to just his location asking for some kind of help. And look, I'll help in every way, in any way that I can, okay? I think that is self-evident by now. But I'm not Batman, okay? Like, you don't call the bat phone. I could barely handle my own shit. And I have barely managed my own shit. And there have been times that it's all burned down around me, and not that far in the past either. The thing that breaks my heart about this guy is he's often in such a state that you can't even reach out to him. And he's way past or dealing with something so dire that he's not in a position that a bro talk is going to fucking put this by him. The last time I had managed to successfully contact him was via email. He had some seizures from benzo withdrawal. I guess that's one of his DOCs, I guess benzos. And he had a seizure, and I responded to him and just said, bro, I'm like, first and foremost, you've had a seizure from benzo withdrawal. You're now going to have one every single time you try to kick benzos, unless you go to a fucking detox. It's just going to keep happening. It's the way the brain chemistry works. Once you have a grand mal seizure on your record, anytime you go to a detox, they immediately load you up on phenobarbital to prevent you from having brain seizures, from having grand mal seizures. So I warned him of that, and I said, you've had some clean time when things were getting better. You know that's the only way. Brother, you have to seek professional help. You need a program. You need like a 6-month program, maybe even like a year-long program at least. I don't just mean AA. I'm talking about a rehab and then a halfway house and then a sober living situation, the whole fucking thing. I've never met anybody that needs this more. And on top of it, I told him he needed grief counseling. Because can I empathize? Yeah, I've buried a lot of people. But I've been very, very, very fortunate that I haven't buried somebody that close to me. Not that close. Buried tons of brothers in the fraternal sense. Dear friends that I think about every day that, in fact, haunt me. But I could not imagine burying the center of your life, especially after watching them die by increments in front of you over a protracted period of time, it's a horrible thing. And very few of us can probably imagine what that's like, although I know some of us can. I know very specifically some of the people I'm looking at fly by in the chat right now can very specifically understand. As I said, I can understand in the larger sense that I've buried some of my dearest friends, more than I can count. But that's a very specific thing. So I would love to point him in the direction of you guys. But that's part of it. He's often not lucid enough to be pointed in the direction of anybody, which tells me that categorically he needs more than just a pep talk at this point. The dude needs professional help. Can I empathize with a broken arm? Yeah, absolutely. Can I fix it for you? No fucking way. No fucking way. So, Mike, brother, if you're out there, please, please get into a program, get into a treatment, get into a detox first. Take every opportunity available to you and get into grief counseling. And then we will be here for you. We will be here. And when you've got some time together, hit me up and I will point you in the direction of the rest of us. So that's the dark and the light side of this thing. In the case of Lorraine, it all came together, at least in the moment. In the case of my buddy Mike, it's what I just said is the best I can offer at this point. And it's horrible. It goes to the core of this entire thing: mental illness, addiction, the whole fucking 9 yards. If somebody's in the middle of a psychotic episode, I don't mean drug related necessarily, just in general, you're not going to talk them out of it. It's not something you can reason them out of. It's a chemical imbalance, and it's beyond empathy. It needs medical intervention. I feel like that's where he's been at. And if you see this, Mike, please. I had to do some of those things too. I'm not talking out of my ass. I had to do them too. But you're grappling with something that is clearly not going away, and I understand why the fuck would it? Why the fuck should it? But the only other alternative is to let it kill you. That's it. So if you see this, I just want to say that. Sorry, that took a long time, but I thought it was worth saying. So let's get to the fucking chat here. Holy shit. I'm still scrolling. All right, we're going to try. We'll try to get through this. If I miss somebody, I'm fucking sorry. By the way, we're going to have a trivia contest and a giveaway for exactly one thing. The Eastbound Hyena, one of the original apostles of Team No Fucking Head in the Oven, has a kettlebell that he wants to mail to one of y'all to help us all get in shape. And since I ain't going to ever fucking use the thing, even if you beat me over the head with it, I figured it should go to one of you guys. We all got all this time on our hands. We could be doing push-ups and fucking shit. Like, I've been walking 5 miles a day, but I ain't going to do no fucking push-ups. First of all, I have like a chronically bad left shoulder now, probably from swinging the 70-pound Les Paul at people's heads for 20 years. And second, if I'm going to put 2 hours into something, it's going to be like a song or a book or something like this. But he's got a kettlebell he wants to give away. So I'm going to ask a trivia question. And whoever gets it first, I'll connect you guys and he'll mail you the kettlebell, which will probably not be that cheap because a kettlebell, I think, is by definition, has some inertia to it, right? Still on my first cigarette. You guys are losing. All right, I saw the odds. I saw the over-under. All right, so John Hanson, Hockey Hooligan, 6 Steve, STP 440, Sean O'Brien, 8 Smokes. I think you're going to lose. I think I'm going to be under. It just dropped out again. You fucking ass spelunking, jizz lobbing. It's dropping again. Come guzzling fucker. Now it's coming back up. Now it's dropping. Fuck. Now it looks like it's back up. It's like if I put my hand near the computer, it acts funny. Ugh. Eric Andriechek. 3, 2, 1. Hockey Hooligan already said that. Wicked Shamrock, my brother, Sean Haney, who is the Minister of Propaganda at Team No Head in the Oven. He provides much of the artwork that I adorn these things with. Did I say Peter Henkel? Bradford Taylor was one of the first, as always, to comment. Nolan Hart says Shakira is still on. I was indeed. Johnny Val. What's going on, brother? I'm glad you are here. I am glad you are here. Robert Forrest. Or is that Forrest? Yes. It just fucking dropped tanked again. Brother Dito. What's going on, brother? I hope you're hanging in there. I've heard New York is finally calming down a little bit. Tiffany Harding, what's up, hun? I love the pic of you in the Team No Head in the Oven shirt. I saw that. Blake Patria, what's going on, brother? Johnny Disaster from Cry Havoc, what's going on, my man? Johnny Napalm. Matt123321. See him every week. John Romano, Drugstore Cowboy. I know all you guys. Matt Bean. Lorraine, she's here. What's up, hun? I am glad you are doing better. Joseph Melzer. Eric Ellis. Azrael, after the biblical angel of death. Or is that Kabbalic? Or would that be the same? Ryan McKay. Dr. Delio. Shotgun Facelift 45. RTO Liker. 18. Mikey Arsenal. Sean Williams. Kerry Murphy. Brian Nelson. Mike Dunford. What's going on, Mike? Eastbound Hyena. Bree Burkhart. What's going on, hun? I got some stuff to send you that I'm psyched about. And thank you for connecting me with Brian. Nico MG. Joe Amato. Let's do this quick so we can get to other stuff. Stacy Boyle. Did I miss somebody? Andrew Van Buskirk. Ben Brown. Jeremy Little. Tank from Energy. Hey, what's going on, Tank? You guys should check out Tank's podcast. It is on his channel. It's Tank from Energy, the band Energy. And if you haven't checked them out, you damn well better check them out. Perfectly Imperfect. What's going on? Dick Knows. Love it. Corey Hole Music. What's going on? Carpet Beggar. What's going on, brother? All right, I am going to light another cigarette, so I'll start, making your, I'll help you out with your over-under. Exilium Exulare. He asks good questions. Peter Angelo. I think I said that. If I say somebody twice, chalk it up to dementia. Meek DeVroot. Did you guys hear the Cape Fear thing, by the way? Chucky Goria from Texas. What's going on, brother? Alan Perry. Bobby Beretta. I'm glad you're here, brother. Sean McKinnon. I'm just trying to scan. Jack Shattuck in the house. Jack Shattuck is, of course, my heir apparent, the St. Peter, upon which we are going to build this fucking church. And a sit-down comic. Yuck. You should check him out, though. Next time he's got a show, I'll spread it around. It just dipped again, motherfucking Nolan Hot. Dacia is here. Brian Nelson. Did I say that? Now I'm going to start saying your names over and over again. Pete Angelo says, Redemption Denied. That song could be a book itself. Let me say something about that fucking song, man. That is one of those cases where if somebody plays that around me, how's my slick hair look? Oh yeah, we got the Max Cady going on. Don't you step on my night, counselor! Don't you step on my night! Hannibal O'Neill, sup, people. Redemption Denied. When I hear that song now, the longer version that's on Spit My Last Breath, I could crawl under a rock and fucking die. When I hear that monotonous voice listing off this litany of vulnerabilities, it was honest as fuck. I'm not saying I'm embarrassed about, well, I am embarrassed about it, but not for the reasons you think. Not because I said anything out of school, but when I just hear this monotone listing these litanies of pain and suffering, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, wear a fig leaf. For the love of fucking God, cover thyself. If I go back and read writing from like 5 years ago, it's the same way. I'm like, the shit you talk about, dude. Fucking show some dignity. David Valovich says condolences to Bobby. Thank you all for giving Bobby condolences. Johnny says, good evening, Rhode Island. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, we will get through this. But I feel this is necessary. Pride Mosh. Am I missing anything good? We're getting to the bottom, guys. Wasted Youth Australia. Matt Pathetic, what's going on, brother? Matt was the first guy to heed the call of a hyena down the night I was talking about at the beginning. Raw Talks, fuck. Indeed. No nap in Naptown 360. I'm glad to hear that, man. That nobody's sick. I've known a few people. Ian fucking McFarland in the house. Mac Farland. That's the that's the bass player for Blood for Blood. For those of you who don't know, the guy, he and I were in a deadly dance of farting in each other's faces and peeing in each. Well, we didn't pee in each other's drinks, but he's my co-star in the Blood for Blood tour videos. Last one was where he got me with the headrest and fucking blew a foghorn on my face at the perfect time, as though he had timed it. I had my fucking mouth hanging open and everything. I can still taste that shit. Thank you, John Romano. Said, I appreciate the fact talk about substance abuse so much. Helps a lot of us, myself included. I don't hide from things like that. If I feel uncomfortable about sharing something, then I run at it. Because I'm like, why am I feeling uncomfortable after this? If it makes me feel awkward, it must have value. Ian M. Respect to my man Maldito. Indeed. Billy Moonbeam in the house. You guys got to check out the Billy Moonbeam show. It's on my social media. You can track it right down. There's another episode coming. That shit made me fucking laugh. Benzos and booze. Gorilla biscuits. Si, senor. Si. Kevin Richmond, what's going on, brother? I hope you are hanging in there as well. You sounded better last couple of times you traded messages. Obviously in some distress for a while. Xanacoma, Pawtucket is in the house, indeed. A couple of you guys are talking about a Facebook group. I thought of that. I just don't know how to do it. I don't know if there's anything to do it. I don't know if you just like hit a button and there's a Facebook group. I think that would be fucking cool though. The reason I've wanted a web page is simply because I could put a message board up and then we could just talk directly rather than answering comments and shit like that. Corey Courtney, Pete Angel, I think I got you. Getting down to the bottom. Sorry, guys. Wait, I just lost somebody. This is what happens. It skips by if I touch it. Sorry. Michael Abazia. I just missed someone else. Motherfucker. I get obsessive about this stuff, and I probably shouldn't. It just dipped again. It just dipped again. You It's dipping again. I think it's my hand. Come on, come back. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on, guys. That it's acting fucked up. Life is War is here. Sorry. What is fucking going on here? Big time lag. It's firing up and down, guys. I'm sorry. Mike Pruitt in the house. What's going on, brother? Shit, guys. Sorry. Peloponnesians. Love the name. I was just reading about the Peloponnesian War the other night. Well, I'm always reading about the Peloponnesian War. Yeah, it dropped. It went nuts for like 30 seconds. Spacey Tone. Fat Ass LX. Love the name. Chris Rodstrom. All right, we're back. Oh, so it's just a picture that goes away? The thing keeps talking? Question. Have almost 6 years sobriety. Broke my neck a while back, and as a result, take prescribed narcotics for acute pain. Sobriety, I don't know, sometimes. What do you think? Man, that is a tough fucking situation. I honestly... that's one of the, I don't know. If you're taking them as prescribed, you know, that's what you got to do. I tended not to be able to do that. I never took them as prescribed. I was never prescribed. Yeah, I was a couple of times, but by the time I was prescribed opiates for any reason, I was already at the point where I was trying not to use them, so I just throw the prescriptions away. But that was for like, you know, like a bust a jaw or something like that. You're talking about chronic stuff. I'm not the guy to kind of advise with that, but you'll know if you're taking them to excess. I mean, you'll know if you're getting just dipped again, you fucking fucker. The definition of addiction is not being dependent on a medication. That's just dependent. Somebody's dependent on insulin if they're, diabetic. The core of addiction is the obsession with the drug and the attendant social and emotional destruction that comes along with it. That's usually how it's defined. I know people that in sobriety, I know many that absolutely avoid anything that can be addicting at all costs. But I know some people that that's a very personal thing. I can't tell you like go throw them out, but you'll also know if you're going a little far, or if it's getting a hold of you. Because I do remember, this is an interesting side topic. It has nothing to do with your question. It's just attendant to it. But I just remember that like in like groups or various outpatients and rehabs and stuff like that. There's always a few people that are like, I'm not like you fucking losers. I was prescribed this shit by my doctor. And my question would always be, well, I don't see your doctor sharing a bed with you here in the rehab. There is pain that will drive people to opiates, but it's always pain that drives people to opiates or any other drug. There's always some kind of underlying dysphoria, but it can get out of hand. I'm just musing at the moment, but I saw somebody mention Ultram. I'm gonna people mention Kratom a lot. I gotta warn you guys about something. There were guys in rehab with me that were not only there to kick Kratom, they were having a really motherfucking hard time doing it. Like one of the guys had like a problem. Granted, he was drinking like 20 pounds of it in tea a day, which sounded a lot even to me. But there's no doubt it's addicting. And a guy was telling me about it on Twitter one day, and I didn't know nothing about it. I barely know anything about it now. I don't even know what it is. I know it has some agonist part, effect on the agonist center of the brain. But the guy was like, the dude had said, yeah, it's not addicting. I said, well, I heard, I knew about the guys in rehab that had a problem. I was like, well, I knew some guys that definitely had withdrawals. He's like, oh yeah, you sweat, you shake, you can't sleep. Sometimes you throw up, but it's not like dope sickness. I was like, that sounds a lot like dope sickness. Like, what part is not there? I'm just saying, be careful, please. For the love of God, be careful. Dana D asked if I smoke pot. I do not. When I am clean, I am pretty abstemious about everything. I don't dabble with anything. I'm on some meds from my doctor, particularly psych meds, but even them I keep to a minimum, if at all possible. Because generally, the longer I'm clean, the more my attendant psychiatric comorbidities retreat and become more manageable. All right, let's see. Scroll all the way down to the chat window. Yeah, I'm wait. I lost it. Dana D, I kicked in jail. It was the worst I've ever kicked. That ain't a great place to do it anyway. I cannot. I know a lot of people that have fucking done that. Talk about a nightmare. I mean, you're already having to guard your Twinkies. You got to be fighting over Twinkies when you're sick as a motherfucker. Like, and you can't let it go. Somebody tries to take your Twinkie. You got to do something about it. They're just gonna keep taking your Twinkies. So, yeah, fuck it. Fuck that. That is a bad place. Mike DeVroot said he had a problem with poppy tea. Dude, there were guys in rehab talking about that shit. How they would order it and keep stockpiles of it so when they kicked, they could drink poppy tea. So there's something going on there. Peter Hinkle asked, did I ever smoke pot? And the answer is, I've certainly tried over the years because everybody seemed to love it. I am, every time I smoke pot, right, or used to, I either don't feel it at all, or I go completely mental and need to be rushed to a hospital where they, like, restrain me and fill me full of Thorazine. I go psychotic on this shit. I have panic attacks. I think I'm losing my fucking mind. And it's either nothing, I don't feel fucking anything. First time I smoked it, I smoked like 9 joints because I thought you're supposed to smoke it till you felt it, which I've found out since is an abhorrent idea even for heavy pot smokers. But Yale did a study, or Johns Hopkins, and they've done studies of the studies, okay? There is a hardcore 10% that they found. It's not a universal study, but the study found that there is a hardcore 9 to 10% of the population that, when attempting to smoke marijuana for a psychoactive, THC for a psychoactive effect, they either don't feel it or it hits them so hard that they have panic attacks. This is like a hardwired thing in about 10% of the population. And they found that the people that had panic attacks from using marijuana, using THC, were then prone to panic attacks from then on. They would continue having them. Lost track of the chat for a second. And there's some good stuff going on in here. Yeah, this thing keeps jumping around every time I touch it. Sorry, guys. I don't know. This is happening worse than usual, and I don't really know why. Let me see if I move it. It'll probably wreck everything. This is Sig 2, Johnny. Oh, I can see that. Drinking a lot of caffeine in this lockdown. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. There's a couple of other things I want to hit. Do this for like another half an hour. Keep it around an hour. The last one went real long. Thank you, Tony Clifton. Tony Clifton in the house said, "I don't believe it's a banger." Thank you. Yeah, I believe that, Lorraine. That she said that pot can exacerbate certain symptoms associated with bipolar and is sometimes contraindicated for those patients. I mean, it makes sense. THC is a hallucinogenic at its core. Yeah, I know if you smoke massive amounts of it, it has a mild opiate effect. And that would explain why some of the old punk rock junkies from like New York back in the Lower East Side in the 80s, they would smoke literally gonzo amounts of marijuana, weed, whatever. Not as hip with, that was never my thing. So, and they were saying it would give them like a bit of opiate nostalgia, and then they found out in massive doses. Yeah, indeed. Out of all the drugs, I think it's by far the least destructive. I've never seen anybody, me personally, do anything uncharacteristically dreadful. And I've seen a lot of people be very successful while using it. I suspect, however, that they're probably maybe not addicts. They genuinely, like, at their core. You know, that's painting with a pretty broad brush, but I know a lot of successful people that are just able to use it recreationally. I mean, truly successful people. That has never been my thing, though. Wasted Australia says, with the lockdown, he's picked up the gloves and been throwing down. I've got about 50 pages of writing done right now, and it's the best I've ever done, and it's fiction of all fucking things. But that's something I've picked up. I mean, this hasn't actually changed my daily vibe very much. I'm just concerned about a lot of people. But Courtney asks, can you talk about that ESP you used to play? The one that I sold, the one I had a freebie from ESP when we were endorsed. We got the endorsement through Victory. Victory had like a blanket deal, blanket endorsement with ESP, and they kept telling me you gotta put in the album like Rob plays only ESPs. And I wouldn't do it because they wouldn't fucking give me one. So finally, they were like, you got to put that in there. And I was like, I called the guy and I was like, send me a guitar or I'm going to put in the album ESP suck. So he sent me a free, it was called an LTD, I think. And at the time, they sucked. They were like a stock, you know, one of those guitars at Daddy's Junkie Music that comes with like an amp, a set of strings, a cord, a pick, and like a jacket that says the name of the, you know, for $79. It was like one of those. But I did use it on albums because I didn't use it live because the feedback was like, it was unmanageable. But it had a good bite to it. But I ended up selling it. And I almost got a warrant issued because I spent the money and then was dragging my feet on mailing it. Not because I wasn't going to give the guy the guitar. But the guy's father, it was a kid. He was like 18 years old or something like that. The father finally said, I'm going to have a warrant put out. He claimed to know somebody and something, whatever. I just said, I'll send the damn thing. My brother Mark helped me send it. I was like, Mark, I got to kind of send this guitar. I'm going to have a problem. Okay. This guy's still trading about Zaganja. I'll tell you what, though. There was a kids wing. I got sent to Karen when I fucked up a year and a half ago. I got sent to Karen, which is a really, really, really good rehab. I had no business being there. It was Music Cares. There's a Dave Grohl started I don't know what you call it, a non-profit or some shit like that, called Music Cares. And Al Barr from the Dropkick Murphys and the Bruisers, and Ian McFarland from Blood for Blood, and my friend Jimmy Knuckles got me into Karen because they ain't gonna give it the blood for blood. What's the point of the whole fucking thing? And those guys did get them to allow me into this really good rehab. Well, they had a children's wing for kids like 18 and under, and it was draconian. The kids couldn't leave their rooms without having 2 escorts. They had to be escorted everywhere. It was just very restrictive, but this is like it's the number 2 rehab in the country. The best one is out in Utah somewhere. It's like a really good rehab. I had no business being there. All the other rehabs I'd ever been in had 20 people in a room on cots with toilet water on the floor and pee in it and toilet paper. It's basically like jail at Bridgewater or something like that. Or Spectrum, where I came in with a bandana because my hair was long. They took it away, and I'm like, why? What, you want me to have an afro? You want me to look like Art Garfunkel? They were like, no, people stab each other here over the band colors of the bandanas. I was like, all right, I'll go with an afro, I guess. And they were. Every night they had the code green. People upstairs trying to stab each other over the color of the shit. But I understand the premise. But I mean, take a break. I mean, in there was this young kid that got in there one night. This happened like 3 days before I got there. This is like fucking 20 years ago. It was at Spectrum. I think it was Spectrum. And all the guys, a couple of Charlestown guys in there, a couple of Salty guys, they were all playing cards, and I was sitting with them talking, and they were talking about the kid that had left like 3 nights earlier. He got there late, okay? The story's worth it if I get there. He was a young kid, like 18. He got in to the rehab real late at night after dinner and everything, and he was starving. So this older guy managed to order him a sub from like a takeout place that delivered on the sly. So the kid ate the sub, and later that night, the dude climbed into bed with him and tried to like fondle him. They got in a fight. The kid like punched the guy, and they both got thrown out. So I'm like, the fuck, man? But the townie guys that I'm playing cards with were like, hey, you bought the kid a sub. He wanted a smooch. I'm sitting there looking at him like, are you fucking barbarians? I'm like, this ain't jail. You don't gotta make it like it is. Like, give me a fucking break. They give us Jello and shit. Like, stop making it like we're in fucking Charles Street. I'm like, you guys that fucking desensitized? You think it's okay? The kid comes in there, he's hungry, some weirdo buys him a sub, and he's got to what? Suck his dick for it? I'm like, will you guys fucking deinstitutionalize yourselves for like 2 seconds, please? They didn't know what I was getting at. They were just like, he bought him a sub, though. I'm like, yeah. My buddies have bought me a sub, too. I hadn't fucking deep throat them. Like, whatever. This thing's still jumping around. I hope you guys can hear me, but, and I lost my overarching train of thought. Oh, the trivia thing. Okay. For the kettlebell. All right. Let me think of a question. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to give you the question, right? And then you got 5 seconds to answer because I don't want you motherfuckers Googling it. And I'm going to try to ask something that can't be Googled. Quickly, anyway. So I have 2 questions in my mind. We'll try them both if we can't get through this. You guys ready? And then I'll connect you with fucking the Hellbound Hyena, and he will send you your kettlebell. Oh, it just dropped again. This is upsetting me. This is actively upsetting me. All right, you guys ready for the trivia question? Yeah? Yeah? No? Well, I'm just going to do it anyway. It's still jumping around. I don't want it to jump around. Question is this. You got 5 seconds. What was the specific event that historians consider the catalyst for World War I? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 boom. All right. Let's see if anybody pops in the next 5 seconds, because I know you guys are a little bit behind me. Yeah, Kerry Murphy got it. The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. Sorry, Bradford. Sorry. Mike, sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'll give you another bonus question. I can't give you nothing for it, but you can look smart. What was the name of the man who shot him? And I'll write it down so you guys know I'm not cheating. So it was Kerry Murphy. Guy's name was something Princip. He worked for the Black Hand. He was a Serbian national. And it was actually kind of like a government conspiracy. Nathan, introduce yourself to Kerry. She's on here all the time. Nathan, you might have to do this on Twitter. Kerry, you might have to go on Twitter, sign up, and I connect you to. He's trustworthy. He's not weird or crazy or nothing. Well, he's crazy, but he's crazy in a good way. But it's funny, too, because the last great statesman of Germany was probably prior to World War I, which was almost started by Kaiser Wilhelm II. The guy was a douchebag and an emotional basket case and a clown. And he's almost personally responsible in a few ways. He was mercurial. He's the one that said, "Be Huns," when he was talking to his own troops, which made the whole world say, "Fuck you. We're going to do something about you guys. Be Huns." It was one of his stupid off-the-cuff remarks, but that's why they called, in The Exorcist, when the British director, every time he sees the Swiss guys, you fucking butchering Nazi cunting Hun. That was from Kaiser Wilhelm. Well, Otto von Bismarck was the last great statesman that might have been leaving prior to World War I and World War II, which was a disaster for Germany. Otto von Bismarck was, they called him the Iron Chancellor, but he was basically leading Germany to European superpower status, and he was doing it. He would war when he felt like it. I mean, he was Prussian, or certainly if he wasn't actually from Prussia, he had the Prussian mindset. But he was into diplomacy, and he had, unlike everybody after, he was like, always stay friends with Russia. That was like one of his axioms, stay on good terms with Russia. But they asked him, what do you think will start the general war that everybody had been predicting? Now, this is back in the 1870s. I think he died in 1870. certainly around there. And they said, what do you think is going to start this world war that we're all anticipating that ends up happening in 1914 with the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand by Princip, Princip, or whatever the fuck his name was, Gavrilo or something, I think. I know his last name was Princip, but they asked him, what do you think is going to be the cause of this war we're all gearing up for and anticipating? And his exact words were, some damn fool thing in the Balkans. That was his exact answer. Some damn fool thing in the Balkans. And that's exactly what it was. His last words are rumored to have been, no two-front war. No two-front war. Which is, of course, the mistake. The Imperial here, and the von Schlieffen plan, everything, the whole 9 yards, World War I, and then later on, Hitler, of course, in Mein Kampf, he'd said repeatedly, like, Germany can't have another two-front war, but then he went and did it, which was indeed the Gotterdammerung of the Third Reich, without a doubt. I've been reading an author named Timothy Snyder that I think he's a revelation. He writes books about that entire region, Eastern Europe, and he basically says World War II was really a war between the Soviet Union and Germany. Everything else was simply incidental. And I would agree with that. That's not to diminish the impact and the involvement of all the other parties at all. But it was a war of annihilation between those two superpowers. All right. Say auf Wiedersehen to your Nazi boss. Tunk, 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 tunk. What a fucking scene, man. Is that not the best shootout in like cinema history? If it ain't, I don't want to know about another one. I'd rather go out speaking to kings. What did he say? The hot place in hell for those that waste good scotch. Must say, damn fine scotch. All right, so where we at? Yes, Bonnie Erickson, indeed. That was the shot heard around the world. Zach Marvin, indeed. For a bunch of misfits, low-life scumbags, and losers, we got a lot of collective intelligence here. Yep. John Wilkes Booth, Jack says. Love it. Gavrilo, that was it. I said Gabrielle. Close. Galen Burks. Are you saying he was an anarchist? I thought he was a member of the Black Hand. There was some Serbian nationalist. He was a colonel in their intelligence service that basically okayed and then funded the mission. Robert Farr said, are you asking about Blood for Blood playing our first show? Our first show was a Thursday night show at the Rat with Twisted Roots and I think they were called Cage. They were wicked nice guys. They were kind of like more like I don't know what you call it. They were kind of like grungy. They were like a grunge band, but they were wicked nice guys. But that was our first show. Our second show was with XXL. No, the first show was XXL, Twisted Roots, and Cage, and Blood for Blood, and we opened. And I'll tell you something, Craig Silverman, who ended up playing with Blood for Blood later, was at the time an Only Living Witness, was playing with Slapshot until recently in his Agnostic Front's guitar player. He said something I never fucking forgot. It actually made me feel real better. All the other bands had fucking, like stacks, half stacks and really good gear. And I had this hunk of shit, solid state 50-watt PV amp that they had to put on a folding chair to be able to put a mic in front of it. It's this horrible hunk of shit amp. And Craig came up to me at the bar after and was like, nice set. I was like, thanks, man. I'm like, I'm wicked embarrassed. Look at my hunk of shit gear. And Craig was like, don't you fucking say that. He's like, that's bullshit. He's like, you'll get the gear. He's like, you'll get it eventually. He's like, but if anything, that says more about you than them. He's like, you're willing to get up there and play with what you got. It's like, not everybody can just go out and buy a fucking stack. Not to say the other bands were spoiled, although there were bands like that. I remember Blood for Blood. I won't name the band because they'd be well known. But they were kids. They were still like 17. And Blood for Blood was only like 18 and 19. But we were already like somewhat like known in the area. And we were playing a show with them, headlining over them, and we crushed them. But we still had like shit gear. And I used to call them R2D2 bands. Because they'd have so much gear with like shit, like, you know, lights moving and like double stacks with fucking strobe tuners and effects boards and all this shit. And they were like 17. I'm like, where are they getting this gear? And I'm willing to steal. Where the fuck is this shit coming from? These rich kids. That is a delineator with being in a band. I wasn't even able to practice growing up in the projects. I wasn't even able to practice with an amp simply because of the noise. The neighbors would shoot you. You started playing an amp until I got my own place. Practice space. Me and my brother and a couple of friends and some of the early Blood for Blood guys got a practice space together, but we all pitched in our money. Prior to that, fuck it. Baba Booey. Where we at? Did I fuck up? I thought Kerry Murphy was the first one to say it. Maybe I'm wrong. Nathan, this is your domain. I leave it to you. You have to be the one to decide who's it. Upstate New York. Somebody asked what city are they from. They were from upstate New York. That's as far as I'm going. I never shit talk anybody personally. Carpetbagger asked if I was a Danzig fan. Dude, it took me months. I did a summer job for like 2 years to save up to get a fucking like a punk rock leather jacket, like a, you know, with the snaps and like, you know, like Sid Vicious's jacket. I fucking would have insisted I'd be, I'm not going to say that. That's ugly because I've seen it happen. I liked the jacket a lot. It was my identity at the time. I'm like 13 or 14. I fucking risked ruining this thing. I had no artistic capability whatsoever, but I took out the Danzig cassette tape and fucking the Misfit collection with She, the one that starts with She, with the green skull. I freehand drew the Danzig skull on this side and the Misfits Fiend on the left side, like, you know, about that fucking big, about as big as my white trash Rob. And it came out brilliant. I mean, this was no safety net, guys. I didn't use I did it from eye and drew it. And I used one of those clacka fucking, you can sniff them and get high fucking paint markers. That goes clack. I mean, this wasn't going nowhere. If I fucked up, I was ruining my fucking jacket. They were brilliant. People were like, who'd you have do that? I was like, I did it. That's how committed I was. But I was a Danzig fucking worshiper. Like, and I actually saw an interview with the motherfucker recently. It was relatively recent. It was from like 5 years ago, but that's recent for Danzig. He was doing it with Rolling Stone, I think. You can find it online. I'll put a link up on the fucking social media because it's worth it for this reason. He was actually humble and grateful. In the interview. He said, "Oh man, people have a hard week. They come to one of my shows and they get to let off a little steam and have some fun. That makes it all worthwhile for me." I was like, where's Danzig? When did the pod people take Danzig away? And who are you pretending to be Danzig? Because Danzig's like the most smug, arrogant, supercilious peckerhead in like music history. He's one of those D-bags. I know, don't get me wrong. I love the guy. Like, and you know what? I'm going to give him a pass on being a douchebag because he's fucking Danzig. I mean, he's the evil Elvis. That's what he is. But I worshipped his bands. But he comes from that weird school because he was from punk rock and hardcore. Obviously, the Misfits. And that's a world where, and you know, Danzig's always been, he's like 4'1", but he's always been like beefy and, you know, he used to punch guys in the head and stuff like that. Not as bad as Rollins. He then get very early with Sam Hain and definitely Danzig. He becomes a metal god, which is a very different thing. The problem with metal is different. One of the fundamental differences is those guys will be cocksuckers that's assholes to everybody around them. Nothing wrong with sucking a good cock. I like to get my cock sucked from time to time. I've heard it can be fun to do. I've never done it, but who knows? He comes from that world where, like, you know, it's part of the mystique to be like a cunt to everybody around you. Where they hear from fans that never get close to them, you're so badass, man. You know, standing up there posing and stuff like that. That don't work in the hardcore world. You start acting like that in our world, you will get pulled off that stage, you will get your jaw wired shut for you. But he comes from that school where if you just stand up there and scowl hard, you're a badass. Your music's awesome. I ain't afraid of you. Sorry. Not even if you had a knife. Not even if you were really mad at me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I literally just lost my train of thought. But I love the guy. I love his work. Sam Haines, actually, Miles Hall says Sam Haines was his classic material along with the Misfits, of course. Dude, I agree. My favorite band out of all of his was the Sam Haines stuff. There was something... It was goth in a way before the term was ever coined. With the funeral bells, there was something so... I don't know what the word would be. Bleak. Not bleak. Evil. Evil. It was like really ominous. And, you know, even like the up-tempo songs like Black Dreams and stuff like that. It's a great song. It had like those church bells in it and shit. It was just really cool. That was my favorite band. Yeah, Danny from the Northside Kings. Ding! I've heard that Morrissey is indeed the biggest douchebag. I kind of got to give Morrissey a pass. Part of this is because I'm from Charlestown, Massachusetts, so I have to listen to Morrissey. I have no choice, or at least the Smiths. But yes, his fans have to put up with a lot from him. Somebody else said something that I liked, and I missed it. Oh, somebody said Michael Graves better than Danzig. I can't go that far. Okay, I can't go that far because Danzig, like I listen to Misfits when I go on those like 5-mile walks every day. Listen to Misfits a lot, and I'm always reminded, like, Jesus, this guy was so fucking ahead of his time. His vocals, his melodies, even the pulse of his voice and stuff like that. Like he was truly like a seminal artist for the world we live in. You know, the stuff we listen to anyway, I guess. But that being said, Michael Graves. I don't even try to compare the two. Michael Graves, on that American Psycho album in that time period, he was the fucking man. One of the best voices I've ever heard. He didn't try to be Danzig either. It just was kind of in the same world, but it was unique enough that you didn't have to make a comparison. The songs were incredible, and he wrote them. I heard he got fucked on that. I heard Jerry screwed him out of all that song. Like, he wrote Dig Up Her Bones. Dig Up Her Bones is one of the best songs ever written. Fucking period. That is like a perfect pop song, and it's still, you know, dark and aggressive. And yeah, you gotta be careful getting me on these topics because I turn into like a 15-year-old. Yeah, Corey Courtney says not better, but Graves was better than he got credit for. I think he was the man. Yeah, the politics with Graves, it's just anathema. Like, it's like I'm trying to be, you know, conservative punks or something like that. I'm like, that's kind of like saying you're like I don't know, a Nazi communist or something. Like, it's just like, huh? It's a little weird. Not that you got to be some goddamn commie to be into punk rock. You don't. I ain't getting into politics. I'm not trying to drive any. We know what we do here. I'm not driving anybody to the door by getting into my fucking bleeding heart humanism. Brian Nelson has thoughts on Type O Negative. One of the bands that had the biggest impact on me, lyrically and musically, Carnivore. That first Type O Negative album were found like rock bottom. Changed everything for me, the way I looked at music. And then I loved everything after simply because I did love it. I know it went a different direction, all the later Type O, but I still loved it. I think Pete Steele was the man. And he was hilarious on stage. Fucking hilarious. Gallenberg says Rollins answers his emails. I've heard that. Oh, Danny's book. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Alan Perry says Dave Mustaine is a giant bag of fuck too. Dude, I loathe that guy. I fucking loathe him. And I've heard stories about him inside the industry. They all make me sick. He's a monster guitar player and he's a great songwriter. But the dude, fuck that fucking dude in the fucking ear. Scowling. I've just heard flip stuff like, minute he gets clean, everybody's got to pray with him and nobody can fucking have a whiff of booze on them within 20 fucking miles. And then when he gets high, and he's just like I've heard the way he treats his bands, and yeah, he's another one of those guys that thinks he's a badass because people told him that for a long time. Fucking, but his, music's cool. Best Misfits song. What a great fucking question. Jesus Christ. Dig Up Her Bones would be one of them, but if I had to pick one off the top of my head, like right off the top of my head, it'd either be Hybrid Moments or Nike A Go-Go or Blood Feast from fucking Earth AD. I think that song is haunting. Rest in peace, Dave Brocky. I guess Squire was on Adam 22 show, No Jumper. Because Adam hit me up and said, I didn't see it yet, so maybe I'm wrong. But Adam had said something in passing about Blood for Blood, and I guess they were really aggressively like, we don't even know who those guys are. And I wanted to be like, do you remember Fury of 5 when they punched the shit out of you on fucking stage twice? Bet you remember them. I don't know if it was like that, but I laughingly said that to fucking... I was about to say something really ugly. Difficult to stand by, so I'm not going to say it, but just leave it alone. Yeah, Carnival was way ahead of its time. Spinal Remains is a great fucking song. Yeah, I heard Brocky was a really, really good dude. Hold on, do I got anything else? I know what I want to talk. Somebody asked me, it's just a random question, but it's something to fall back on. And then we'll go for like another 10 minutes and then we'll wrap this fucker up. Keep it a little more tidy than the last one where it just sort of traded off. Somebody asked me where the name Ramallah came from. They said, I know it's a city in the Middle East. Obviously, it's a city in in Jerusalem. It's considered a Palestinian city, of course. I remember somebody saying, that name's offensive to me. And I said, some dude. And I was like, do you mean it's offensive that there's a city named Ramallah? Or that there's a city named Ramallah that's war-torn? Or that there's a city named Ramallah that's war-torn that has people living in it that are afflicted by this war? Or do you mean that you're offended that the band's name is named after these things? The guy was like, it's just offensive. I was like, thank you for proving my point. We got stopped like we always do. Coming back into the U.S. after the last Persistence tour. The last one Ramallah played. I think it was like in 2016 with Suicidal Tendencies. And Terror and Strife was on it too. What a great bunch of guys those dudes were. Evergreen Terrace, they were wicked nice guys too. Good band too. We got stopped coming through. The customs were in Ireland. We were landed in fucking Belfast, and we were gonna fly back. And they did the customs there, the U.S. customs, so you could do this fast check through when you got back. I'd never seen it before. I guess it was a new thing to prevent lines and shit like that. But they pulled me aside like they always do, because I have never been able to go through a border of any kind without being strip searched. I'm not kidding. To the point, and customs people have no sense of humor ever. But I always joke, like, they're like, oh, it's just a random screening. I'm like, no, when something's 500 out of 500, it's not random. I know there's something in there. Whatever, you're not going to find nothing. You think by now, after I've been stopped 500 times, I'm going to try to come in here with my armpits packed with cocaine? Like, you crazy? But, and they never laughed. It's random. I'm like, just stop. It can't be random. 500 for 500 or whatever the fuck, 300 for 300. But they stopped us. They had us sitting there for like an hour. Me and Bob Falzano, me and Balesy Bob from the Nodcast, the guy that does the edits, who we should all thank because without him, this shit wouldn't be happening. The live stream would, but we wouldn't be here to do the live stream if it wasn't for the Nodcast. So everybody give a round of applause to Bob, but who I miss. But we're sitting there, and finally it was the Irish customs people that pulled us and took us in the room, and we're just sitting there with our stuff. Been there for like an hour and a half, and finally a U.S. customs guy comes in and says, we're like, what's going on? Can we leave? Like, you look through our stuff. He's like, why is the name of your band Ramallah? And I was like, to provoke the exact reaction you're giving us right now. And he was like, get the fuck out of here. I picked up our bags and left. But here was the other thing. There's a Ramallah song called For All My Dead Girls that we put out about a year and a half ago. Just popped it up online. It hasn't come out on an album or anything yet. And it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. Ever. Certainly lyrically. Up to that point, it definitely was. But I'm not gonna mention the guy's name. He's a really good friend. He's from a really well-known band you guys would definitely know. Was talking to one of my band members and saying, man, I don't get that fucking song. I love the music, but I don't get that song. And I think it was Bob that was talking to him, said, what don't you get about it? And he's like, well, the thing about Rob's lyrics is that I love is that it's always total reality. Like, it's always based in, like, you know that there's nothing bullshit going on. He's like, but with that one, like, it's like in the middle of the song. I know Rob doesn't kill little girls. Like, so what is that shit? Like, it's like he's pretending to kill little girls. And I was told this secondhand, so I can't react because I'm not being told it. I have to go through somebody or like bring up the whole conversation. I was like, he didn't get it? He's like, no, he really didn't get it. And I was like, and I've got this reaction. People are like, what's going on in the middle? I'm like, it's an image. It came from a story I had. This gets deep, but I was with a woman that I loved, and she had been abused by her father. Okay? Abused by her father. Later on, I transgressed against her with booze and drugs. And if anybody knows that's dabbled with that stuff, one of the things you do is you lie about it. And she didn't understand that that's just part and parcel. What I'm saying is, did you get high today? No. You know, that type of thing. It wasn't like I was making up I wasn't stealing from her or anything, but she never got over it. She had deep-seated trust issues. So I had an idea for a story that I had written. I have most of it written. But a guy that goes back in time to rescue the woman he loves from the circumstances that turned her into a person that later on the relationship could be sustained. He tries to raise her right. He fails. He goes back and tries it again. Fails. Goes back and tries it again. Fails. Finally decides to kill the little girl so she doesn't have to experience all these horrible experiences. And then he kills himself. That was the story. It's kind of the motive behind that part of the song. The idea is it would almost, for some people, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying it's entered my mind. I'm not saying I believe it with all my soul, but I'm saying there's some people that have suffered so much hell and abuse and indignity that it would almost be more of a mercy to go back and kill them when they were 5 so they didn't have to live through what they lived through. That was the notion of that. And when people would come and be like, I don't understand what you're saying, I'd be like, are you adult? Like, I don't understand what's so... All right, granted, the story I just told, the story it was based on, that's convoluted, but it's just the idea. It's just the idea that I've known people that have gone through so much hell that you could make a case that it would almost be more merciful to go back in time and euthanize them when they're 5 or 6 or 7 rather than let them live through the next 30 years of horror. That was the notion of the song. That's all. I had to spit it out. Where we at? Oh, it's flying. It's flying. All right, guys. Indeed. Jan says there is a hell. Believe me, I've seen it. As have I, brother. As have, I think, many of us. So, all right. So we will wrap up here. This was Pissa. Perfect time. Everybody was here. Jesus, we got over 100 people still in here after an hour and a half. I fucking love it. That's the biggest number at any one time thus far. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming out. legit. No sarcasm, no cynicism. This gets me out of bed in the morning. I hope it helps you do too. Everybody, take off their fucking wimples and their fucking 10-gallon hats. Put them over your heart, and we'll do the prayer. Ready? What I gotta do to find a better way to make it through? There's gotta be a better way than living like this. I was waiting for a better day and waiting for a better way. I waited so long that I lost my faith. I was waiting, I was hating, I was pleading, I was bleeding. I was praying for something that never came. I prayed for something that never came. You prayed for something that never came. We prayed for something that never came. So bang, 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 and no more. Ah! My love to you all. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We will do this again very soon. Please hang in there. Please be safe. Any of you have any problems, get in the Twitter, get in the feeds. We're here. We're here. We're all here, and we all fucking seem to look out for each other. I have been surprised by that and humbled by that and gratified by that. Go team, no head in the oven. My love to you all. See you later, guy.